Welcome back for another week of the Couch Coaches. I've once again got the reins. So my name's Richard, the bandwagon conductor laddie. The bandwagon's not sort of running as hot as it has been for the last sort of 12 months, is it, John? It was a bit of probably one of the worst performances we've seen under Andrew Webster over the weekend, the 27-24 loss to the Titans. What was how are you feeling after that game?
Mixed emotions. It was quite, piss poor from the Warriors, to be honest. And I'm just going to say it like that. But it's piss poor from the Warriors. The bandwagoners as well. Piss poor is from them as well. I've always got something to say about them, but I'll keep going tonight. But in terms of the game, it was a hard watch. It was like watching the Warriors of old, and you can always appreciate when, for example, the Titans are coming last, right? And that's not to say that they've been playing really bad football, because sometimes they've had some really close games, as most of the season has been. You've seen a lot of upsets, but they haven't won a game so far, and you expect at home the Warriors to take this one out. And whether it was a tight one or not, you still expect them to take them out. And you can appreciate when a team actually does really well and scores some really awesome tries and deserves to get there. But some of the tries that they scored were so soft, it wasn't funny. They let in some of the most simple, easy tries, and it was kind of embarrassing if you get what I mean.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that it was that Tanner Boyd one in particular for me, which really hurt. They made him look like he was Jonathan Thurston reincarnated or something like that. Like the way he sort of got through the line, it was just far too easy. There was about 3 Warriors players there, but no one could stop him. And then, that sort of Cam Pereira's try in the corner would, once again, it seems to be a real issue with our wingers at the moment. Both Montoya and Dallin in this case just came in. Rocco Berry was reading that. I think it was Brian Kelly on the inside, and Berry was all over him. But once again, so Dallin came in, and then Cam Pereira went over and untouched. So it's just these errors that we're seeing time and time again. Once again, it was a hot start. We're up 12-0. This is probably the third or fourth time this has happened this season that we've had the first 20 minutes. We've just dominated the game. Just just so much control, scoring points with ease. 2 weeks in a row. It happened to the Dragons last week, but there's a real problem. I think maybe there's a bit of fatigue coming through with some of the guys, with just this sort of lack of these middles coming off the bench that we've had. I think it looks like there's a few tired players out there. They'll be hanging out for the bye, I think. 43 missed tackles, 16 of them ineffective. There was 5 penalties in a row, I think. It's sort of over that period, sort of towards the end of the first half and second half, and we just put ourselves in a hole. So I'm being a little bit sort of negative here. We'll see whether you've got any positives to take from the game.
No, it's just justified though. Like just going back to what I said about the bandwagon, there are a lot of people jumping off it just because of this stuff, and this is when you know who the true supporters are. And you and I, we've been true supporters since '95, but there's nothing wrong with a bit of criticism here, like some fair criticism. And to be honest, it's disappointing as a supporter. It's disappointing. It's not the way that it's not the fact that they're just losing, because there's a long way to go in the season. It's the way they're losing, letting in soft tries and stuff. I think Roger Tuivasa spoke about it during the week, as well as Andrew Webster, talking about defense is where we've been lacking. And it's obvious to see. What do you say? How many missed tackles this week against the Titans?
43.
Yeah, and we're on the all-time. I mean, on the overall list this season, we're 4th on that ladder after playing 8 games. We've missed 255 tackles, and the Sea Eagles have missed 285, Roosters 264, and the Raiders 256. So, we're just below the Raiders there on 4th on 255 missed tackles, and that's not a stat you want, to be associated with, and it's causing us problems because they're letting in soft tries. Like you said, we always have a hot start. Seems to be the trend. We sort of just doze off for a bit, and I was actually trying to figure out what the issue is. Is it the first 20 maybe fatigue, like you were saying, but then is it because they some key players come off for a rest, for a well-deserved rest, for Noah Blake or Mitch Barney? I can't remember when they actually came off, so I could be wrong here, but I know that when they're actually not on, the game isn't the same. The team play isn't the same, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's good. I mean, looking at the team for this week, with Bunty coming back and also Kurt Catewell, hopefully that'll tidy up some things and strengthen that those edges there a little bit. But yeah, it's just the defense. That's the one word, defense, or two words. Sorry, poor defense. Simply poor defense. Just poor defense, and that's what lost us the game because we still came in with a sniff. Our attacking stats are pretty good. If you look them up and stuff, taking meters and stuff, all that sort of stuff, we're really good. We're high up there. But the problem for me was that not along the defense, we couldn't convert those meters, and when we're inside their own 20, we couldn't convert them into points. And some things went against us. I mean, I saw a lot of people talking about Wade Egan when he knocked the ball on. They said, "Oh, that shouldn't have been a try," but I actually thought it was a knock on. That little touch.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's annoying when the bunker goes back to that stuff, but you can't really argue with the fact that that's, and it was the same. It was actually the same player. Like it was that played the ball where the try came from. So that was annoying, but I mean, we had our opportunities. Like I mean, I think. We were obviously rolling down the field, scored those 2 quick tries. I rewatched some extended highlights earlier. I didn't realize there was 18 minutes left in the clock when, we scored that try to make it 24-27. So we had 18 minutes left, which we seemed to dominate the last 18 minutes, but we're just lacking a bit on fifth tackle options. To the Titans' defense, they were really good defensively, like we had a few times, I think that sort of when Dallin got quite close to scoring that try. And there was a few moments like that where we were sort of pretty hot on attack within sort of 10 minutes out from the line. And their defense just held strong. And it was sort of felt similar to that Dragons game the week before, it was sort of that their defense was good, and then we were just a bit one-dimensional, and we just maybe lacking some of that X factor with sort of, Sean Johnson's obviously carrying that injury. We talked last week about going left a bit more. We sort of started doing that, but Tamari Martin just sort of couldn't get that edge. It doesn't quite look the shape of them out there. Obviously Jackson Ford had gone over to the right as well, so they just sort of not quite sure why they had done that, like why they wouldn't just put Laban on the right edge, but they tried to put Jackson Ford over there. As a positive, I thought Zion had a great debut. That young Zion off the bench. He came on when we were 27-12 down. He had 12 minutes, 4 runs, 4 sort of barnstorming runs, so 53 meters up the guts. But then they took him off. I thought that he was sort of. I think he probably deserved a bit more time, but it's good to see these young guys get a go. Laban, probably it was a bit of a. He's had a couple of pretty solid games off the bench, but he wasn't able to sort of do much this week and really sort of have his stamp his mark on the game, which is a bit of a shame for him. It's just there's some problems. I'm trying to say I'm not worried, but I'm a little bit worried. But all it's going to take is a couple of good performances for them to sort of get back. I think the return of Bunty this week's huge. I think that it's potentially, not people don't acknowledge sort of how much, as you say about sort of when Barnett and Fanua Blake were going off, how much he kind of just, the effort and the energy that he brings onto the field, is great. So it'd be awesome to see him back this week. I think Dylan Walker had a pretty good game sort of return from his injury as well. So once we sort of build that bench back up, we've got, close to our sort of number one starting side, which Andrew Webster just doesn't seem to want to make any changes with yet, which I'm fine with. I thought that there may have been something this week. I sort of talked about the potential move of RTS out to the wing last week, whether that could happen. I thought again maybe they might do that, but Montoya didn't have a bad game. So I don't know what's wrong or how we're going to fix it. It's
a good point. It's a good point you make in regards to with Bunty, because if it shows you how important it is to have someone coming off the bench that can still keep the momentum going, like a Fanua Blake and a Mitch Barnett can do. It doesn't have to be as top quality as them, but as long as they've got that same up there, sort of close up there. You know, you need that. Otherwise, you see what happens at the Warriors. Something just goes missing, and they're the two that punch holes, or get to go forward up the middle and create things. But also another thing, we were praising Sean Johnson about the game plan. It was always kick to the right, bomb, and you can see that it's a plan because with Rocco Berry sometimes not even contesting for the ball. He'll just wait for them to catch us, and so the plan is to take them down there so they can set up their defensive plan. It worked, but how long does that work for? Because now I think teams understand what the plan is. They just know because they know it's too predictable now. It's quite predictable, and I think right now they need to change something. And the old Alex Ferguson, the old Manchester United manager back in the day, he once said, "Attack wins you games, defense wins you titles." So, I don't think we have to worry too much on attack, even though we went missing there as well last week against the Titans. I think they just need to fully focus on their defense, because if they can tighten up that defense, we should be fine. Because there'll be a lot of tight games if they don't score tries as well. But if they still stay in the game and they're not chasing 12 or 18 points like they've been doing, if they're not chasing large amount of points, I'm sure they'll be confident enough to get there. They've got the firepower. At the moment, they're just lacking the defensive power.
Yeah, and they have, and we've seen. I think particularly the last 2 weeks, it's been clear. We've basically pretty similar blueprint in both games. We obviously came back into it against the Titans a bit more than we did against the Dragons, but I feel like we still that sort of probably 40 minutes. That 40 minutes from 20 minutes in. The first half, 20 minutes in the second half, we're just, it's just we're not used to it. The new, we're sort of used to it with old Warriors teams, so it's not a completely new sensation, but the expectation isn't there, obviously, with sort of how well this team looks to be, coached, how well they played last year. I think after 12 rounds last year, we had only won 6 games, so we won 3 after 8 rounds, so we can sneak another couple of wins in. But it just feels like when you look at the table at the moment, there's Sharks and Storm on 14, Panthers on 12, Seagulls on 11, 2 teams on 10, and 5 teams on 8, and we're on 7. So it just feels like it's going to be one of those seasons where it's going to be tight. It's going to be a log jam sort of up there. And I mean the creams rise to the top again. You got your Storm, Panthers, Broncos all in the top 5, the Sharks. And I know that I think last week you doubted the Sharks, and you may have even tipped them to go down to the Raiders, where they won 40-0. So they look like, I don't know, they're a team that can just score some points, and I think they're going to put some big scores on. Maybe not the likes of the Storm and the Panthers and the Broncos, but maybe you could probably put the Seagulls in that. I think they've proved they can probably be there as well. But I mean, we're just going to need to start picking up a few wins here and there, and we've got a good opportunity this week going over to Newcastle, play the Knights. Already beaten them this year. The Knights look sort of a shell of what the team they were last year.
Ponga's out.
So, and Ponga's out.
So that helps. But going back to what you're saying about all the teams and stuff, it's quite tight. And I guess, I mean, we've been calling it the end of the year of the multi-killer, because I mean, I'm sure those betting agencies would be raking in the money at the moment, because there's so many upsets, etc., and things that are happening at the moment that
it's not just upsets, it's these big wins, like the Roosters won by 50, the Storm won by about 30, it was Broncos had a huge, it was a crazy round, it really was. It wasn't some of the upsets, but just the big wins.
Exactly. And and it's just, that's what's probably keeping the Warriors, even though they're in top spot, they're still way in contention for this, because things are changing all the time. Every week is changing, which is good in a way. It's good for the Warriors, but another stat that's not good is that they're second on the ladder for tackles made. So they've made 2,796 tackles in the 8 games, and it's not a bad stat, but for me, it just shows you that because we've been turning over the ball too much, too easily, too many penalties. It's something that Andrew Webster can't control, because it's the players on the field, doing some. And those penalties are just really, really stupid, foolish penalties. They've been giving away too many penalties and stuff, and it's just which means the opposition has more ball in the hand, which means more tackles for us to make. And we've made, like I said, we're second on the Knights are number one and 2,917 tackles. We have made 2,796 tackles, and that means that we're not having the ball. It means the other opposition have been having the ball, and not only that, we're fourth. As I mentioned before, we're fourth for all-time missed tackles for the season. So it just shows you that the more ball the opposition have, the more chances the more sets they have. Eventually, there's going to be some missed tackles in there, and it's hurting us. It's hurting us on the points. So it's crazy, very, very crazy at the moment. So.
But you saw it in that game very much, like it was after that sort of 20-minute, that strong start we had. As soon as we gave away about five straight penalties, and just we were just it was silly. They were sort of almost 50-50, there's a couple of them you were just sort of like, oh really, like you could have not given that one. So they probably got a bit unlucky there. But they probably, as I said, 50-50. So not saying there weren't penalties, but would say that they'd often not be given. And there was a strip, or there was something, some call. Maybe was it Jacob Blake? Did he get stripped, or did he strip someone supposedly, but he hadn't touched the ball? I don't know. There was something like that. I just can't remember exactly what happened.
There are some other ridiculous calls made in that game as well. For when, for example, David Fafita got put on report for when he was trying to do. I don't know if he was trying to charge down the kick, or it was the last kick play, and he touched the leg of the kick. I think it was Tamari Martin. I can't remember if it was Tamari Martin or someone else, but he touched the leg and he got put on report on it. But if you're going to go on report, isn't that a penalty offence as well? Do you remember that in the game?
Oh, it was 2 weeks ago. No, I think I saw something about it, but I don't actually remember it.
Yeah. No, so David Fafita, I can't remember whether it was. I know it was David Fafita. Can't remember whether it was he was charging down a drop goal, which is actually probably not, because there was no need for a drop goal at the time. But it was a kick, last tackle kick, and he brushed the leg of the kicker, which I think it was Tamari Martin at the time, and he got put on report for it, but it wasn't penalised for it. And I think from what I heard, it was the fact that the report came later on after the set had been played and stuff like that. But yeah. So I mean,
he mustn't have spent as much time on Broadway as what Sean Johnson has after his performance on against the Seagulls a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was an interesting game. I mean, I think we handed it to them. We gave them too many soft tries, and when the team is scoring quite frequently, the momentum builds, and when momentum builds, confidence builds. And they were on a run. You could see that they were confident. They believed that they could do it, and they were doing so well. Yeah. And typical Warriors, we come back, to have a little bit of a comeback at the end. But I don't want us to come back. I want us to capitalize on our good, amazing starts and keep it there. Instead of coming at the last 15, 20 minutes and trying to launch a hopeful attack to try and win the game. And that needs to be there. I think if we tidy up defense, it'll all balance out in terms of attack and defense eventually.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some positives. Should we move to the Wally Ems for the week? So those who don't know, the Wally Ems are our version of the Dally Ems, because Dally Ems are an absolute rot, and we're boycotting them after last year.
Yep.
So we just give our Warriors players 3-2-1 points for the week. Do you want to start us off this week?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so again, it was hard. It was a hard one after that frustrating play, because there were so many players that were just that we missing. I was disappointed with Rocco Berry, for example. I love Rocco Berry, and I just thought that he just didn't have the greatest game. Missed some soft tackles that went through. But we're talking about the positives here. Sorry, so let me just let me retract. I would say I would give Inaugual Blake 3 points.
Yep.
Just for doing what he always does. Scored a try.
2 tries.
Yep. Just run straight up. Creates options. On both sides. With so many players hanging off him and stuff. In defense. So it's Inaugual Blake. Gonna miss him, to be honest. It would have been awesome if he came, if he stayed on, and we had Fisher Harris as well. I mean, imagine that. And so yeah, for Noah Blake, chance 2 points. Again, just for his workhorse. You know, just I think he did over 200 meters again. I think
he did.
Yeah, he did.
Well over, I think.
Yeah. No, he's been doing good. I mean, but and he scored a good try as well, right at the start, first try of the game. I think it was the first try of the game.
On his 100th game as well. I felt like he'd played way more than 100 games. Hey, like I was sort of like, oh really? But I suppose he's had quite a bit of time off injured, and he actually hadn't played that much. But when he went to the Raiders, So
yeah,
what was that? 2019.
Yep. And I get my other 1 point. I'll give it to Mitch Barnett. Just simply doing what he was supposed to do. It doesn't say a lot, to be honest, because it was like it was when it's hard to pick who your Waliem point scorers are on a frustrating game. It's really difficult. But that's why I've just gone to the guys who did their job. So they were my points.
Nice. Yeah, I've followed you up with Noah Blake with 3 points. 2 tries, 220 meters, 107 post-contact meters, 27 tackles. I think it was about 62 minutes. I think so. Big night for the big fella.
Yeah.
I went with Dylan Walker for 2 points. Actually, thought it was a really good return. I think that when he came on, it sort of just he gave us some spark. He had a try assist for Noah Blake's second try. I think 37 tackles on not that many minutes. Yeah. And I actually went with chance for my 1 point. Yeah, I thought he was really good. I thought 262 meters, but then I read somewhere else it was about 290. So I don't know. It was just it was a few meters. And I think like it's been the case the last few weeks is that we're getting really good starts from our sets. You know, we're sort of getting ourselves some good field position. Yeah. We're sort of defending quite well, not letting them get too far up the field, and then we're starting our sets in a good place. He's making plenty of meters, but we're just it's not happening somewhere. But give it a chance. For those following at home, I think for Noah Blake's now up to 14 points, so he's leading, and chances on 13. So those two, and with Wade Egan on 9. So those three are the early favourites. Might have to start a book to see who's going to be the Waliem for the year. No cheating. We'll go into start bench drop now, just because I've got it here. I've gone something a bit different this week. I'm going with sort of Waz cult heroes running off the back fence. So you got to start bench and drop between Hidero Okasini, Bunty Afoa, and Paliasina.
That's a good one. I would start big Hitro, Okasini. I would bench Paliasina and drop Bunty.
Yeah, I love Okasini, but I just have such good memories of I just have such good, amazing memories of Paliasina running off that back bench. Yeah, the legs going, and so many montages around. So I think I'd start him. I have to go hitter off the bench, and then Bunty. As much as I love Bunty off the back fence, he's one of the greats. It's obviously just fine company for Bunty to be in. So I'll have to drop him, but I'll point out that I love Bunty and I love watching him come off the back fence.
Just in case he's listening, right?
Just in case he's listening, and I'm looking forward to him coming off the back fence on his return this week.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned crazy before about how just things are being a bit crazy with the Warriors game, plus how the NRL 2024 has just sort of been shaping up at the moment. But speaking of crazy, Paul Kent. Paul Kent. Let's talk about Paul Kent, because I was going to put something on the Facebook page about it, but then I thought, I wasn't sure how true this was, or if this was something that was, when it first came to light on social media, I was thinking, was this something that was done years ago or something? So I didn't want to, just play around with it and stuff. But as each day goes by, the more and more comes to light about it. And what the heck was the guy thinking? I mean, like, he's just come from being stood down for a while because of being on sort of being before the court and everything, and then I don't understand it. I mean, I heard Willie Mason talking about it, in his podcast earlier on, talking about why I don't understand how he would do this. When you're in the spotlight, and I agree because having had to media train players myself, professional sports players in the past with media and stuff, one of the things that I've told them is no matter where you are, there's always phones out. If you're a public figure, well known, especially in sports, the phones are going to be out. They're going to take photos. People are going to take videos. No matter where you are, a phone will always be out. And try to get that in their head so they know to watch their behavior in case someone's filming them. And he should know. Someone who's in the media like Paul Kent should know that if you're going to get into a fight, with so many people around you, people are going to have their phones out. And I don't know what fired him up to do it, but I mean, he didn't do a great job. And
well, I think the thing about it is that it got it about me was you sort of watch it, and I mean, we obviously don't know what happened beforehand. There was obviously something that happens in the lead up to it, but he was the other guy was sort of standing back, and he was the one who was fully going in there and going for it, and then he got absolutely slammed into the gutter. I hear that inaugual protocol. He stood down for a few weeks on concussion protocol after his head slammed into the gutter in the tree.
Apparently, I was reading somewhere that he's got a collapsed lung as well, and stuff. But you're right. Stand into the tree. The
fact that the fact he's only just come back after his domestic abuse stuff is just, and to do that, he's obviously a hothead, and I mean we've seen him on 360, and he's always ruffled up and always making big calls. But it'll be interesting to see whether he's able to bounce back from that. Who's taking a spot on 360 now? I
don't know. I mean, last time I think they used Gordon Tellis, didn't they? Didn't they use Gordon Tellis to replace him?
Yeah, I think so.
It was just wild. I mean, every media manager for a professional sports team should be telling, and I'm pretty sure they do. We should be telling players, watch your behavior, because if you do something out in the public that's wrong, someone's going to film it. Someone's going to take a photo of it. Someone's going to capture it, and it'll get out there. I mean, and that's why I'm so baffled about Paul Kent doing it, because he's in the media. So, and he would have known people with their phones out. And, and not only that is it just foolish right there, just in that instance, but then trying to get all fired up about it. And he just made himself look silly. The guy didn't do much. The guy put him down on the ground with ease. And in the whole stance, it's just like, what are you doing, man? You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing yourself.
Did you see the video of someone they put that inaugural 360 music behind it?
Oh yeah.
Behind it. The internet is just it's a great place to be in these places. So prayers for well, actually I can say prayers for Paul Kent, but not prayers for Paul Kent. He's a questionable bloke in the first place, so it might be the best thing to happen to our media.
Oh, far out. Yeah.
Just quickly, do you have any hot takes on the signing of young Jet Cleary?
Oh, I mean, when I first heard the rumor, I put it up on the Facebook page, and thinking, asking people if people knew if this was true or not, and we had a couple of comments and stuff saying, it would be good to have him here. Some thinking, blah 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 blah. I won't say anything until I see his signature on the paper or something like that. So yeah, I don't know nothing about him. To be honest, I didn't even know Jet Cleary existed until the rumor came up, and then you start looking into it yourself. And apparently, he's really good, up and coming player. He's in the Panthers pathways, and to be in the Panthers pathways is a good thing. If you've got someone up there who's doing well in the Panthers pathways, he's gonna be good. Also found out that he's born in New Zealand as well, because obviously he was born when Ivan, his father, Panthers coach now, was the Warriors coach at the time. And so he was born in New Zealand, so eligible for the Kiwi, so that's another bonus. But he's taken up, and he would have been around the Warriors setup, for a while, I think. But he would have been really young though. He would have been really young. Nathan Cleary.
Yeah, I think he would have been born when Ivan was playing for the Warriors, I imagine.
Yeah.
I think he's about 19. Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna say I don't know a lot about him, but I mean he's got a good surname of some pretty good stock there. So if he can be a shadow of his brother, I would be pretty happy to take him.
Oh, definitely, and just strengthening up the halves areas for the Warriors, because once Sean Johnson goes, I always assumed Metcalf would take Sean Johnson's spot, but being injury prone as Metcalf can be, who takes over Metcalf if he's injured? You need someone there. You need another halfback in lining, a young, promising halfback, and that's probably where Jet Cleary. I was like Jet Cleary, so we don't get mixed up with the others. Is probably thinking as well. Thinking I've got a shot here, because I think Tamara Martin. I don't know if he'll be around for another few years. I don't know what he's where his contract lies, or Harris Davidas as well. But yeah, I think it's a good option for us, and who knows? But I'd like to see him play. Haven't seen him play. I've just seen a couple of clips and stuff, but we'd like to see what he's like. If he's anything like his brother, like you said, we'll take him.
Yeah. And other Warriors news. Just a big shout out to the Harold Matthews boys winning the under-17s comp. First team to win it in their inaugural season. I would be lying if I said I'd watched a lot of it. But just watched a heap of highlights. Looks like there's some real talent in that team, So I'm looking forward to seeing some of those boys sort of come through in the next couple of years. It's really just awesome to see. Really good for the club, and it kind of just sums up that even though we've had a few bad losses, I think the club's still obviously still in a really good place. Another sold out Mount Smart. So your premonition of selling out every home game is still alive. So
yep, it will be. It will be.
Yeah. So it'd be cool to see how the rest of the sort of juniors teams do as well. Knights this week, John. Are we Knights coming off a tight win over the Dolphins? Are we getting back in our winning ways?
We are. I'm backing them. I'm backing them, and I know I'm being realistic here. I still think we still a lot of tidying up to do to win the game defensively. But I still think we'll take it out. But like I said, I said the same thing against the Titans, and that was just a shocker. So if we can just tighten up defense, I think like I said earlier, tighten up the defense, it'll balance out, and we'll be fine. I mean, they're very depleted without Ponga, aren't they? The old Knights and stuff like that. But I think they're out with they won't have Jack Hetherington either after his little thing in the altercation in the tunnel with Reid Mahoney.
Is he still out? Is he?
I think so. I'm not sure, but it was quite funny to watch because he apologized. He apologized for the incident. So he punched him, didn't he? He punched him in the tunnel. I think Reid Mahoney was doing like a punching stance. Like had his fists up, walked through the tunnel, and then laughing about it. It looked like it was a bit of a joke. Like it looked like they were just joking around, but he had his Jack Hetherington put his fists up and walked towards him and actually punched him in the chest like a little jab. And his quote was this: "I hate a little smart ass who runs in like he does. They were like little pests, like little chihuahuas. But that doesn't mean I should have done what I did." So I love how he's apologizing, but before he does apologize, he has to have some smack talk in there. So which is pretty much who Jack Hetherington is.
Reid Mahoney would love that. That's what dummy halves are there for. They're like the halfbacks in a game of rugby union. They're just the loud little ones, and they're always sort of getting in there and sort of trying to fight people far bigger than them.
Yeah,
sort of reminds me of PJ Perenara. I feel like he would have been a good dummy half and league game.
Oh, he would have been great in the league. I mean, I wish I'd actually asked him that, to be honest, but no, I haven't had a chance. Because I reckon he would have done really well in the league. With his ball skills.
He's got the passing game. He's got he's good on defense. He's got a bit of flair to him. Yeah, with the Knights this week, obviously we've got a pretty similar team. Just Capewell coming into the starting lineup. That's only changed to the 13, and then we've got Bunty coming off the bench with Dylan Walker, Laban, and who else is on the bench?
Walker, Laban, Bunty, and Tom Ali.
Tom Ali, yeah, cool. Yeah. So who are you circling? Who are your eyes on to step up after the last few weeks?
I think they are. I think. Before we go into that, I mean, what are your thoughts on maybe resting Shaun Johnson? I mean, I don't know who you replace him with, but I actually thought they should have rested him last week. To be honest, I thought it was the perfect opportunity to rest him.
Yeah,
but, yeah. That's because
he's obviously not. He's still not training with the team, is he? So and it just seems like the fact he's not training with the team. I would have thought they'd be practicing going into the left a little bit more, but when they started going to the left, it just looked really disjointed. Sort of, like Tuasashik. Like I think Tuasashik had a good game, he had a really good game, but there was just a few moments where he was standing quite deep. Like sort of the shape out there wasn't good. And Tamara Martin's kicking game wasn't probably where it should be, but I think it's just because obviously. I don't know what they're doing in training. It seemed like he hadn't kicked the ball for a while, and sounds like Shaun Johnson isn't training.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be against it. I mean, you just have to. I'd probably wait till, Harris DeVita's back. He's the obvious choice, but
Dylan Walker maybe. But
Dylan Walker, but he's probably more of a 6, So either Tamara Martin could go out to 7. I don't know. Has he ever played 7?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure, but the thing is that I just thought, like you said, with Shaun Johnson not training with the team and only turning up on game day, and don't get me wrong, I kudos to him for doing it, and because an Achilles injury is heavy. I've ruptured my Achilles before. It was not nice. It's hard to play, especially when you're sort of coming back from one. It's not easy and stuff. So, good on him for having the courage to do that. But I just thought last week was the perfect opportunity to rest them. Not because it was just because it was the Titans, but just because it's needed. It was needed, and that's why I was saying when you said circling, that's who I was circling to step up a bigger game, because we need Shaun Johnson just to step up a big, because he's the one that's going to cause the magic out there. He's going to bring the magic out there. So we need him, but it's hard with that injury. It's hard with him. So would have been the perfect moment to get someone to step up and just see what they can do at 7. And and see if they can give him a week off, because he needs that rest. He said it himself. He needs some rest, and if he gets more rest, he might be available for 2025. That's what he said. So but anyway, going back to your initial question, who else am I circling? Always thinking Fanua Blake's always going to have a big game, so it's good. But I think that the person that really needs to step up is who we were talking about before, Tamari Martin. I think he really needs to step up his game and support Johnson more, because you can't just let him have all the reins on kicking. So I'm pretty sure Johnson will be like, give me the ball on hard tackle. He'll probably be doing that. But I think Tamari Martin has to have the confidence to say, look, send that my way a couple of times, right? Just don't leave it to Shaun Johnson to do everything. Send it my way a couple of times, and he needs to spark that attack on the left-hand side, because look who he's got on the left-hand side. Look who he's got in terms of center, and look who he's got in terms of a forward who's doing well, running meters and breaking the line. So, in Jackson Ford, even though he played on the right last week, normally on the left. So I just think that
this week,
So I just think that you got to give Tamari Martin some opportunities to prove himself. So if in terms of your question, who am I circling to needs to step up and have a big game, it would be Tamari Martin.
Nice. I'm going to go with Wade Egan. I think that he came back from his injury and he was great for 2 games, but it just seems to be a little bit quiet last few games. Nothing really to do with that knock on. I think that's just probably something that happens quite often in games and gets missed. But he just, like with Johnson sort of injured and the attack just looking a little bit flat, you think that when he came back and some of those tries that we were scoring with sort of Chance sort of lurking around and some of those nice pop balls that were going on. So I think it'd be good to see a bit more from him this week. So and I'm also looking forward to see. I just want Capewell sort of has been all right, but I don't feel like we haven't seen the best of him since he's arrived. He's not like he's not one of those flashy sort of back rowers or anything. He sort of just does the hard work and all that, but he's definitely got it in him. He's got a little bit of a sort of kicking game, a little bit of an offload. So it'd be good to see that right edge kind of doing its thing, and him sort of throwing himself in there like we sort of saw with Curran when he was playing last year. Speaking of, Josh Barron's playing prop this week for the Bulldogs. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't see it.
Having a real utility.
Yep, he's a great player. I wish we didn't lose him, but I agree with you on Capewell. But another player who I think needs to step up in this game is Montoya. Great player, great in the air, and also great, on attack. When he runs the ball up, runs it hard, but too many unforced errors of late, and just too many some missed tackles as well. And just I think he needs to have a big game because
he gets tackled out a lot, I think it's maybe just because that left edge just it's sort of going back to the left edge. It's probably not working how it should be, but it seems like he often like when we go down there and the ball goes to him. I don't know whether it's like he doesn't sort of cut back in. He sort of just like he almost runs towards the line, and players are able just
it just doesn't happen.
but he's like players are always just able to sort of just like push him and push him out. So should be a good game. I'm backing us to bounce back and get a win. Not going to be too pushy on it. We have won 3 of the last 4 against the Knights. Obviously. Beat them earlier this year, and then before that we played them in that semi-final last year. That was I forget what the finals names are, but that game at Mount Smart where it was just one of the great sort of Warriors moments of all time. It just looked like absolutely amazing. So hopefully they can replicate some of those scenes. Should we have a look at the tipping for last week? And
go for it, mate.
This week?
Yeah,
sweet. So we I got another one up on you last week. So we started off. Neither of us obviously picked the Titans.
Yeah.
You picked the Roosters. I went with the Dragons in that game, and that went quite badly for me.
Cock-a-doodle-doo. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. They I thought the Dragons after they beat us, I thought maybe they were on the way out, but maybe we were the problem, and it wasn't them being good. Storm, big win for the Storm. We both picked them. Seagulls got up. Both picked them. Broncos beat the Tigers. Pretty one. It was a bizarre game. Did you watch any of that game?
Bits and pieces of it, yeah.
Adam Reynolds is cramping up and getting an intercept. When I watched it, I was watching it live. I was like, what is happening here? But he went off, and then Reece Walsh had gone off, and Reece Walsh looked like he was properly injured, but I think it was just like cramp or he had a bad gut or something. So Broncos looking like they're getting back to their winning ways. And then the Panthers got up over the Cowboys, and they pretty light work of them. The Cowboys, another one of those teams which I just can't quite get a read on them. I think they can probably beat some good teams, but
they're kind of like the Warriors in a way. Like they're full of star players, but they know they've got the attack. They know Dearden. He's awesome.
I love Dearden.
If he was on the market, I'd be like, come on, Warriors. I'll go for Dearden. Imagine him and Johnson pairing up together. That would be amazing. I mean, Dearden.
He's got a really running game. I think that's probably where Metcalf had it, but sort of not really Tamari Martin's game. He's probably more of sort of like a controlling and sort of kicking 5'8". But Dearden's got that sort of he's a spark. So we'll see how the Cowboys can sort of keep going. But I just felt that they're one of those teams that can beat anyone, but they're also can lose to anyone as well. So.
And that game the Cowboys played, obviously it was Anzac Day sort of games, and when they did the anthem, they were focusing on Jason Tomalolo. He was singing the New Zealand anthem, and I was thinking, yes, he's still a Kiwi. That was my thoughts. And then they kept on zooming in on him. And rather than James Fisher Harris or someone else, but
making a point of it.
Why did you keep supports Tonga, mate?
I feel like Fisher Harris got a bit of attention, didn't he? And then the Knights, who'd they play? Dolphins. Yeah, that was a tight game in the end, but I picked the Knights and you picked the Dolphins, so that was one up for me. And then the Sharks. 40-0 against the Raiders. At halftime, I got on the Sharks to win by 41-50. So when Nico Hines missed that kick from the corner with like 4 minutes to go on the clock, it was paying like $17 as well. Like I was ready to spend my cash, Like I was ready to make a withdrawal and
out of town along the noise,
and then on the final set of the game, the Sharks were hot on attack. Inside the 10 minutes away from the line, and then Will Kennedy just dropped it. So it's two players that can go in my black book are Nico Hines and Will Kennedy.
But Nico Hines would have got 6 Dally M points, so
But he did have a very good game. So I'm pretty sure he probably deserves it this week.
Okay, yeah.
Mind you, the Dally M's, they probably would have given 1 point to Xavier Savage or one of the Raiders players, just to, bit of participation points.
Fair enough.
The old participation certificates at school. I used to get them for my science. Summed up my science career. We've got another round ahead of us. Seagulls and Raiders getting us underway on Thursday night.
Wasn't it Rabbitohs Panthers?
Oh, have I got the wrong round? I don't think I've got the wrong round.
No, because Seagulls are playing the Raiders, but on Friday.
Oh, okay. So if I just missed out on the Thursday game.
Yep. So Rabbitohs Panthers.
I've only written 7 games down here. Yep, sorry. When I opened up Tribe, it just opened up to the Friday game for some reason. Yep. So Rabbitohs Panthers. No, not going to take your beloved Rabbitohs again, John.
Oh no, I don't like those guys at all. Far out. No, Panthers, Rabbit Stew all year, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Panthers quite confidently. Seagulls Raiders on Friday night.
I'll go with the Seagulls just because they're playing. Oh, actually, it depends actually because now I'm not sure what's happening with Cherry Evans. Is he actually out? Because I know he was he got great. He had like a. Can't remember what grade he got for his dangerous throw charge.
I think he was named, but jury's tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, it's because I know that it was a grade 2 dangerous throw offense, and if he's found guilty because he's contesting it, he'll face a 3-match ban, and so that's quite heavy. It's quite heavy for the Seagulls. So. It's a hard one to pick because it really, if he's playing, then I would pick him. But then if he's not, then I'm not.
Worth noting that Olakau'atu's out as well.
Yeah,
he's a big out for the Seagulls.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Yeah, because it really depends on Cherry Evans, and right now he's at the judiciary at the moment. So I'll say Seagulls. I'll say Seagulls. Yeah.
I know you wanted to go on Raiders, so I'll go on the Raiders for you.
Okay.
Even though they lost 40-0 on the weekend, I think Ricky would have given them. They'll be having a hard week this week, and with Olakau'atu out and maybe Cherry Evans, Raiders going on them for a bounce back. Broncos Roosters Friday night. This could be an absolute barnstormer if last week's games are anything to go by. Is at Suncorp, of course, because the Broncos only ever really play at Suncorp. Who you got?
Correct in terms of Broncos never going outside of Suncorp. Seems to think that I don't know what it is. Every time you just look it up, they seem to be playing at Suncorp, right? Like I know they have away games, but can you actually, in your memory, in your mind, can you pick a game where they're playing away from home? Because every time you think of a Broncos game, you just see the surroundings of Suncorp. That's where you see the surroundings, the background.
They played at Campbelltown on the weekend, but that's hardly, it's against the Tigers, so it's hardly like a tough away game, is it? So, and no doubt, because Magic Round must be coming up, Is it round 10 next week? No doubt that'll be an away game for them, but it's Suncorp.
Exactly, as it always is. Even if they're playing the Dolphins away, it'll be at Suncorp. So
it is round 10.
They got lucky. So
it is round 10, but it is round 10, and believe it or not, they're playing against the Eels, and it's an away game.
What do you know?
Unbelievable.
What do you know?
Yeah. Oh no, sorry, I take it back. It's a Combank. No, not round 10.
Yeah.
I don't know when it is.
Yeah, but it doesn't change the fact that you're correct though about what's going on with the Broncos. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Broncos this week.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
The Roosters were good on the weekend, but the Broncos just seem to be kind of Payne Haas is back, and they look like they're really flying. Bulldogs and Wests up next.
Battle of the West.
The Battle of the West, yeah.
Yeah.
I only had doggies that one.
Yeah, I'm the same doggies as well. Yeah.
Okay. And then we've got Titans Storm. Back in Titans, back to back.
Nah, heck no. Storm.
Yeah, had to disagree with that. I think Storm are pretty much all fit. So as long as their spine's playing there, you'd be hard to bet against them, eh?
Yeah.
Cowboys Dolphins. This could be a great game actually.
I'm going with the Cows.
Cows.
Yep.
Yeah, Dolphins look like they're just hurting a little bit from the injuries, eh?
Yeah. With depth. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm going Dolphins. Even though they're hurting from injuries.
Yeah.
Knights Warriors are both on the wires.
Yeah, 1-12.
1-12. I'll go 13 plus. Why not? And Sharks Dragons to finish off the round. I think the Sharks have played the last round 2 weeks in a row, and they've won by an average of about 35 points. So
yeah, Sharks. I'm going Sharks.
I don't like the Sharks at your own peril. Yeah, no, I'm going to have to go the Sharks.
The funny thing is that and people might disagree with me. Like, I'm sure there will be many disagreements with what I'm going to say, but I think I've said this before. I don't think they're anything special. They've got some good players in there, some talent. They've got some talent there, but I don't think they're anything like the Broncos or or the Storm. Where it's like the Stars mixed with a good direction. I just think I don't know. I admit I haven't watched a lot of their games, but I just don't think they're anything. I've never thought they're anything special, to be honest. But I was still
punters out there. Bet the Sharks by 30 plus this week after John's for the third week in a row said they're nothing special, and they've got 40 points on their last two opponents. So
it's just my luck this year, 2024, the year of the multi-killer. But no, I'll still go with Sharks. I'll go with the Sharks just because I'm picking them wrong. So hopefully I'm wrong on this one. The Dragons win this one against the Sharks. But it's a tight. These games are tight to pick. They're hard. Some of them are hard to pick, aren't they? Like
I think there's a couple of quite hard ones this week. Yeah, especially with a few injuries, and that Cowboys Dolphins should be good. Broncos Roosters will be good. Seagulls Raiders. I mean, it could be. Raiders are just a hard one. They're one of those. There's half the teams in the comp. Are just still hard to pick, and we're 8 rounds in, eh? It's a sign of a really good, tight competition. And hopefully we can just sneak our way up from 12th from where we are at the moment. A win this week will help that.
Yep. No, that's it. That's the pickings for me. And it's gonna be interesting to see by the end of Sunday and see where the ladder's at. It's gonna be interesting. It's quite condensed. I mean, it's quite jammed at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, at the moment, the Bulldogs, Cowboys, Raiders, Dragons, Roosters are all on 8. So I think a few of those teams have had their bye already. So I think we have to remember we haven't had a bye yet. So even if we did have that bye, we'd shoot up to still be in the 8th as well at the moment. Those 3 wins have been crucial. Hopefully another win this weekend, and bang, we'll be back in the 8.
Yep.
Righto. Anything else to add for this week?
Yeah. Before I forget, Luke Keary. Announced his retirement at the end of the season, immediate retirement after the 2024 season, which is a big deal. I thought he still had a lot of games in him, but I think he's prioritized his well-being in terms of all the concussions he's had and stuff like that.
Yeah, he knocks for Africa, eh? So
and it's not. I won't go into too much detail, but you heard about the man who passed in New Zealand in here. We got the knee to the head in rugby union. Yeah, so we have me and my wife. We have they're friends of ours. Not them. Sorry, the brother is our friend, and it's really sad to see, and it just makes you think about the future, about what's going to happen with all these concussions, and because there are people that are just dropping, like in rugby league as well, and they're getting not so much passing away, but they're having health problems, as the consequences of all those head knocks. And I've always having a little boy now, 12 weeks old. Always thinking, oh, he's my little warrior. But then it makes me think, do I really want him playing? With the way the game is going, the way it's going. So yeah, I can understand why he's putting his well-being, as a priority, which is good on him. That's what I'm saying. Good on him, because great player, still probably had a lot of years in him, but yeah, I mean, he's just said too many. It's kind of like Wade Egan. When will Wade Egan one day go that way if it continues to happen to him? Because he's had a few, and Chance as well. They've had a few head knocks as well. So
yeah.
It's an interesting one.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I was amazed. I think it said he played for 13 years. I was like, what? But then I think, oh yeah, he was in that South team, wasn't like when did they win? 2014. He'd probably been there for a couple of years by then. So yeah, I was just surprised to sort of see that. But it just seemed like he's quite young. He still looks quite young. It seemed like he hadn't been around for that long, but he still had a pretty good run and a couple of premierships. What, 2 premierships? How many did he won with the Roosters? Just the one. Yeah, I think so.
Not sure. Not sure, but yeah,
Roosters.
Hard to replace them, but yeah, all good. Good on. I'm just saying, good on him. That's why I wanted to, to bring that up and say things like that. Another shout out to one of the fans and supporters of our podcast, Sam Pickering. Just wanted to shout him out. Shout out for him and his wife Letitia. They had a son on the 27th of April. Ruben Neal Pickering. So just wanted to give him a shout out because he's a fan of our podcast. So yeah, just want to give him a good shout out. Congratulations
named after Ruben Wiki.
I don't know about that. But he has messaged me saying like I can't wait for our sons to be on the Wars, play for the Wars and stuff. So he's already got me sending messages saying that. So we wanted to give him a shout out to Sam Letitia. Congratulations. Yeah, and I wanted to finish off by asking you a question. Bandwagoners, they're really pissing me off at the moment. Really pissing me off because the losses that we've been having, the things that they've been saying, and just makes no sense. And that's when you can tell who a bandwagoner is. In my question to you is, do you have a message for your beloved bandwagoners?
Oh, just keep the faith. Keep the faith, brothers and sisters. Those of us who've been supporting the Warriors for a while. We've been through these dark days, and we've sort of. But you can get. I think you said it well before. You can get a little bit. You can get a little bit upset and criticize a little bit, but just remember it's just a game. Be nice. And we win or lose, we'll love the Wars regardless. So if you want to be a real true fan, just enjoy the roller coaster because it's a hell of a good time.
Yeah, and when does a fan go from bandwagon status to genuine fan status? When does that shift? When does that shift happen?
When they can name probably like 10 Australians that have played for the Warriors.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. Not including like players playing now. Maybe like 10 previous Warriors players from Australia.
Can I test you in this? Can you name 10 Australian?
Okay, let's give
Come
this
on,
a go.
I want to test you on this. I reckon I could do it easy, but okay.
Yeah, no, I'm sure I can.
All right, let's go.
Okay, I'm start off with one of the greats, Dane Nielsen.
Yep. Okay, one of the greats.
Brent Tate.
Yep.
Jacob Lillyman.
Yep. 3.
Steve Price.
4. Yep.
Kevin Campion.
Yep. 5.
Michael Witt.
Yep. Nice. 6.
PJ Marsh.
Yep. 7.
Wade McKinnon.
8. Yep.
Oh, I'm going blank now. How's this happening? Michael Luck.
9. Did you say Michael Luck before?
I don't think so.
I think
I said Michael Witt.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Michael Luck. Yeah, fair enough. Yep, that's 9. One more. You got it.
Oh, so much pressure.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
Who am I thinking of? Oh, Brent Webb. Yeah, he played for the
Nice.
Kiwis, but he was Australian.
Yeah. You're right. Nice. Well done.
God, I
Well
was
done.
just out there.
Yeah. But that just shows you that you're not on bandwagon status, even though you're the conductor. So yeah,
Exactly.
all good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe we'll try twinning next week.
Yeah. All right, I'll be up for that. But yeah, because I was thinking as well, James Maloney.
Oh yeah.
Dylan Kemp as well.
I'm sure there's a few big names. Dylan Kemp probably not the most memorable Warrior, but he's done all right for himself since.
Oh, he's great as a commentator and great as and got a lot of good insight and stuff. I think I told you this already, but I interviewed him when he first came to the Warriors. It was because he came along with Joel Moon and Jacob Lillyman, so they all came in the same batch, sort of when they signed up. Yeah. So yeah, I was interviewing them. So I actually can't remember the interview, but I've got the article somewhere stored around somewhere. But anyway, I'll pull that out somewhere and I'll bring it up. But all right, I think that's us for tonight because you've got an early morning to Wellington tomorrow, don't you?
Early start.
Yeah, early start. Right. Well, thanks everyone. That's all we have for tonight. We hope you've enjoyed this episode and thank you so much for your support. We appreciate it so much. Keep spreading the news about us and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. We need your support. So thanks for joining us again on Couch Coaches. Good night.